He's the pride of Bombay, India, and the University of South Florida. Actor, comedian, Daily Show correspondent, Aasif Mandvi, who joins us here in the Man Cave. I'm watching you watch everything around. You're very curious. Are you concerned about where you are right now?
I feel like there's a lot of guys with headphones on around me.
Do you want headphones on?
No, I'm fine. I'm great. Yeah. There's a lot of guys speaking secretly into receivers and things, which as a brown person makes me nervous. There's a lot of people going like, he's here, he's entered the building, and it just makes me really nervous.
Are you aware of that, though? I mean, comedy aside, if we're walking down the streets of New York, cultural, labeling, stereotyping.
Sure. I mean, look, I'm fortunate in the sense that some people kind of know who I am, so I have enough of I have enough like maybe a naivete. I just think people recognize me from TV.
For
but
good
they
things.
might be actually calling Homeland Security. They'll be like, I just think they're like, oh, it's the guy from The Daily Show. And they may actually be like, please call the feds right now. This gentleman has entered the building.
But what do people respond to you? If they come up to you, they recognize you from what?
I've done a lot of things in my career. Obviously, in New York, most people recognize me from The Daily Show. That feels like, in the major cultural hubs, people recognize me from The Daily Show. But then, I've had people come up to me and be like, you were the dentist on Oz. And it was like 15 years ago or whatever,
You were on ER, weren't you?
I've been on pretty much everything. I think I've played more doctors than any other actor in the history of Hollywood.
So are you stereotyped there, the Indian doctor?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's how I made my living for a long time. I actually... my mother was very proud of me in the moment when I did an episode of some soap opera years ago where they actually had me play a doctor, and they didn't care even to give the doctor a name, so they just said, let's just make him Dr. Mandvi. And so on the show, they were paging Dr. Mandvi, and my mother could not have been prouder just to hear.
Is she disappointed that this is how you turned out, that you didn't become a doctor?
My family's very proud of me now, but I think for a long time, they, as good Indian parents want to do, they wish that I had gone into medicine,
Give me some medical terminology. Could you pull it off here, being a doctor right now?
Could I pull off being a doctor right now?
If I'm just asking you a question here.
Yeah.
Dr. Mandvi.
Yes.
I need your help.
Yes.
What do you think's wrong with the patient?
Well, I think they have an acute case of agronophobia. Yeah, see, that's the best I can do. That's the best I can do.
It.
But you know what the thing about it is that I walk in and because of the way I look, people just assume I'm a doctor. That's
really?
That is.
You should wear scrubs.
Benefits of being an Indian.
Wear scrubs.
I should wear scrubs. Everywhere.
Yes. And just have people put gloves on you everywhere you go. You just take them off and you have gloves on you.
Yes.
When you cross the line, I don't know if it's crossing the line, but journalism and comedy with The Daily Show, that you go in with journalistic integrity.
Yes. Okay, maybe. I don't know about that.
There's no journalism involved when you go in. And now, does Jon Stewart give you your assignment to say, this is where you're going?
Yeah. I mean, John is basically okays everything and gives the thumbs up to every story that we do on the show. But then we go out with a producer and we write questions and we go out to interview people. And then what's fun for us as Daily Show correspondents is that it always, inevitably, if it's going well, turns into something else. There is a moment when the questions sort of become somewhat irrelevant and something starts happening in the moment. The person says something that they wish they had never said.
So you know when you're doing well when it goes bad?
In a weird way, yes. Like when things start to go south, when the more uncomfortable and awkward the interview gets,
give me an example.
The more we know that this is going to be television gold.
When did it go south where you just went, in your mind, this is awesome?
Well, I mean, the most famous example for me was when I was speaking to a GOP community person down in North Carolina, Don Yelton, and he just went on this racial tirade, using the N-word, calling Obama a witch doctor, and all this stuff, and sort of wouldn't stop. For the first couple of times, I kind of steered him away, and then. Just because, and then it just became a thing where he just started saying it. So then my job in that moment was just like, oh, I'm just going to step back and let this guy drive the bus right off the cliff, you know? So that was the moment when I knew as that was happening, like, oh, this is going to be amazing.
How do you not react in the moment?
I'm probably just terrified that I'm going to screw it up. So I just try to stay, you know, I mean, I'm an actor, you know, and so at the end of the day, it just becomes an acting exercise to just pretend like, you know, like I'm not amused by any of it or whatever, and try to. There have been moments where after the camera has turned off, I erupt, you know, and you can't help it.
Well, you run outside and you just start giggling like
yeah, you know, sometimes you do. Sometimes, you know, the producer will. There was one interview that I had once where literally I was talking to the guy, and he was talking about how we should put alligators in the Rio Grande to stop Mexicans coming over the border. And and I was talking to him, having a completely serious conversation, and my producer was off in the corner, like doubled over on the floor, laughing. And I was trying to not see that in my peripheral vision. That was pretty crazy.
Now, you were also in $1 Million Arm. Mm-hmm. That was
my baseball movie that I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any athleticism?
I've thrown a ball.
Yeah.
I've thrown a ball. No, when I was a kid, I used to play soccer or football, as we call it in England, because I grew up in England.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, I played soccer. I wasn't very good. I was usually the substitute goalie, you know. But I did grow up watching football, soccer.
So the whole $1 Million Arm is about two boys from India. A true story with the pirates.
And they come to America, and it's an amazing story. It continues to be, because they came to America, and they're the first Indians from India recruited to Major League Baseball.
You don't play cricket?
I play cricket.
You're just not any good at
but
playing
I'm
cricket.
not very good at. I mean, I have played, you know. But these guys, the two guys, Rinku and Dinesh, who came over here from India, they are. It was amazing because I you know, when you first see pictures of them when they first got recruited, they were like these little, you know, 100-pound like little guys. And then I met Rinku like when I was shooting the movie $1 Million Arm, which is about their story. And I met Rinku, and he was just jacked up.
We don't want to know how he got jacked up here.
He was like,
You're also in The Internship. I just saw The Internship the other day.
Oh, it's a good movie, right?
I thought there were some very funny moments in there. Very funny moments in there.
I think it was a lot of fun to do, and we got to spend some time on the Google campus, which has, by the way, more Indian and Chinese people than I've ever seen.
You were at home.
Anywhere in my life.
They loved you there.
More than Bombay and Beijing.
The Dictator, you were in that as well.
Yeah.
You've written a book as well.
I've written a book. Yes. It's called No Land's Man.
No Land's Man.
It's a series of humorous essays, my take on my life and things that happened to me, you know, in terms of being an Indian immigrant and growing up in the U.S. and the U.K. and, you know.
We're playing the sympathy card here.
I'm playing the sympathy card.
Oh, woe is me. Oh, whoa. But most awkward story in there. What's the one people will talk about?
What's the one? Well, it's the one about how my. It's not awkward, but it's you know, it's ridiculous in the sense that my father came to America from. We were living in the UK. My dad comes to America on a reconnaissance mission to see if he wants to migrate to America, emigrate, and somebody took him out for brunch, and he so fell in love with brunch, the idea of American brunch, that he wanted to move to this country. And it was one of the major reasons that he came here, because he thought that between breakfast and lunch, there was another meal. And it was the combination, it was called brunch. So he called us he was like, Americans have so much food that between breakfast and lunch, they have to stop and eat again. They call it brunch. It's amazing. And it's $7.95, all you can eat. And he thought, and he was just like, he was like a pig in shit. Can I say that? Oh, no.
Well, you did say it.
And that's a very Muslim thing to be, by the way.
A pig. So your dad came here for brunch.
He did. He came here because he heard about brunch, and he just literally was like, we're moving the whole family to Tampa, Florida.
The book is No Land's Man.
Yes.
Filled with personal essays reflecting his multinational, multicultural upbringing and a whole lot about brunch. It's Aasif Mandvi from The Daily Show. I'm glad you stopped by.
Hey,
It's great
thanks,
to
man.
meet
It was
you.
great to meet
We
you.
appreciate that.